Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Lea Sakran. She is an author, a narrator, a multilingual voiceover artist. Welcome to the show, Lea.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
You are welcome to the show, Lea. You are welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to discuss. We'll be talking about audiobooks and stories. So, Lea, you are a multilingual voiceover artist. Tell us a bit about people have heard about audiobooks, but for a common person, a general person in some village in India, smaller place, who does not know only about audiobooks but have only heard about it, how should they know what an audiobook is, looks like, how what is it all about?
Great. Thank you for your question. An audiobook is a form of a story to listen to. Mostly in the West, we read or we read books. And now the industry of stories actually developed into hearing stories, which is actually something very from the roots. In old times, people, they told the stories. They didn't read or they couldn't write, many people. So it was over the ear that they heard the stories. And we actually now are coming back to a time in another form where the listening has again a great value because the narrator who tells the story can take the audience, the people, by the hand, by the ear, and also tell a story in a way to transport emotions and images.
Right, well explained, Leah. So what is the difference between an audiobook and a podcast then, especially an audio podcast, if someone wants to understand that?
Great question. I think an audiobook is actually a story told chronologically from the start to the middle part to the end. That's my point of view. And I think in a podcast, you actually maybe take a story as a subject or the theme of a story to build upon within a podcast where different people talk about a story related in context to, for example, a life situation. But I actually want to point out the book which I'm publishing tomorrow actually is a third form we're working on, which has commentaries between the stories, but it's staying with the stories, always trying to take different perspectives to the story, which I'm going to talk later on also about.
Absolutely. We will talk about your audiobook, Gusta and Gusto, if I am pronouncing it correct. Is that the one getting released tomorrow?
Gusta and Gusto has been released in March, the audiobook, where there is just the stories. And tomorrow, Gusta and Gusto with commentary will
Okay.
be released. And there, my daughter and me are actually in interludes between the stories, talking about the different situations within the stories. And the interesting point is we are different generations. So it's about connecting hearts and generations by taking different perspectives and looking at stories from different point of views, from different experiences you have had in different times you have lived.
Absolutely. So, Leah, I want to understand for the audience is you talk about, why audiobooks are a great way to enjoy stories. I want to understand from you. Why audiobooks are a great way to enjoy stories? What's problem with the books? Uh, is it different? Help us understand why should people listen to more audiobooks less than reading it, so that people can then compare it what works best for them.
I can only talk about how I perceive it in my way.
Right.
I think the time we are living in, it is very fast nowadays. We have so many tasks we need to do, and it seems always to go faster and faster. And many people in the train or in the aeroplane, they listen to a podcast or they listen to an audiobook. um, I think it's also a way of be to feel comfort by, it comes from the time the parents who's telling the story to the child to fall asleep. I'm, I'm not, but it is the idea of someone telling you a story and taking the time to tell you something. And I think it's something very, yes, comforting. And you, as a narrator, as I stated already, also, you can actually decide, or you can give the color how a story can be listened to. I think the voice is a, a brilliant instrument, um, because it's a sound, and sound is vibration, sound is emotion, sound is color. And it's a versatile way to actually to touch the soul of the people, of the listeners, and to transport messages with your voice.
Right. Right. You can get the feelings of the story through the narrator.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, in terms of audiobook, how should people then make best use of these audiobooks? In a story, if you are having a book, you just have read some few pages, then you read some more later on. Can you do the same in audiobooks, or do you have to continue? You will lose that whole sequence or flow, and then you will have to come back into the flow. How does that work? What is your understanding of that?
No, I don't think so. I really think you have the choice to just listen to a sequence. Actually, I also brought a sequence today where we could actually just listen to the sequence. Um, and then you can listen to it later on again, because as in the same way, I would say, as you read something, you hear something and then you reflect about it. So, you can let it settle down. I think you can actually do this also by listening. You can listen to different parts of a music piece or to different chapters. I would say it is possible. That's
Okay.
my opinion.
Perfectly, perfectly. Well said. You are a multilingual voiceover artist.
Yes,
Uh,
I am.
how do you? What is the thing? If someone wants is listening to you today, tomorrow, later on, and they are interested in being a narrator, what are the things that they can keep in mind to be a good narrator of an audiobook? Is it just having a good voice is good enough, or is it that one does not have a great voice but they have great way of narrating it? What is the requirement that you feel one can be a good narrator of an audiobook?
Okay. I want to say I have a background in theater and in music and in dance. And those are all creative skills and also skills I learned to form, actually my way of expressing myself. I do believe this. That's my subjective point of view. I can say I love listening to audiobooks where there is a clear articulation, I would say, for example, where I feel that the author is generous with his voice,
Okay.
giving, and also, in the music, you say play the pauses, also leaving the pauses that the sound of an idea, of a message, it can flow through the ear, through the body of the listener. um, it's something very generous, I would say, to be a narrator, and also to love to give a sensation of a story, of situations, of emotions, of images, where the listeners also get this sensation that they might feel in certain situations. Oh, the narrator, she understands me. There's a connection between the narrator and the audience, I would say, in the best cases. And that's what I'm aiming for. And since I'm multilingual and I've lived in different, in several different countries, um, I have the possibility also to have this colorful, I would say, versatility in my voice, to 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 give the stories also the cultural aspect and respect to be communicated to the target audience.
Right, right. So, in terms of, do you provide voice only to your own book, or you get offers from outside also? And how
Yes.
does that work? You need to approach them. Do you approach? Who are these people that one can approach?
Yes, actually, I'm very open also to narrate books of other authors, of course. Yeah. For the moment, I quite focused, because since I'm an author, to actually narrate my stories, and I have other poems which will come out soon next year. But then I'm also very open to narrate stories of other people, and I want to say, if someone also has a book they wrote and they're thinking of making an audiobook, there I also offer, to make a free excerpt of, I don't know, 300 words, um, that the people actually can hear my voice, um, how it would sound if they would create an audiobook. So yeah, welcome. Get in touch with me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we were talking about, that how, if there is some sample of some audiobook, and if that is possible for people to listen, then they can sample it. Exactly know what an audiobook is all about and how your voice sounds when you are actually doing it, if that is possible.
Yes, of course. Okay, this is a sample. The miracle carpet was very light and flexible in the air, flying sometimes slowly and relaxed, and then again jaggedly fast when it took a turn to get from one continent to the other, for example. And despite the lightness of the carpet, it was stable and robust. Gusta's grandfather explained, on the carpet you always felt safe. And when it was cold, for example, when flying over Greenland, the carpet magically warmed its passengers. And when flying over a hot country, for instance, over the desert, you felt this gently cooling, softly enveloping breeze, as if a pink cloud was embracing you. One should
Wonderful.
have such a carpet, Gusta often thought when she rested on her old perforated carpet after her mud fun bath. Let herself be dried by the sun, looking into the blue sky and watching the 2, 3 little clouds that sometimes passed by.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank
So
you.
that's Gusta and Gusto.
That's Gusta and Gusta, the first book, right, which was published already in March. And tomorrow, December 5th, on Audible, you will get Gusta and Gusto with commentary of my daughter, who is 22, and me, who is a little older. Right.
Wonderful. So, what is this Gusta and Gusto story? If you can, quickly tell us for the audience.
I would say those stories, there are two rhinos which encounter humanized emotions, and they live in rhino country, and they go through different life situations, also challenging situations, and they find ways, positive ways, to look at things and to find solutions. So I guess it's also about, self-development, but since they're rhinos, you can take some distance to it, and or you say, oh, those rhinos, they are like me. And there's also, is this gentle breeze of salt, of humor with it. um, so, I think it's nice to listen to stories where there is this humor. Also, if there are, some challenges in life, you it's like an offer to look at things, with a certain lightness. And I've really built a relation with this Gusta and Gusto, and sometimes me too. I think, oh, what would they do now in a certain situation? They're alive, these characters.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, to bring to life these characters, did you need to do some special preparation because human emotions are different? Rhinos are different. So,
Yeah.
was it how did you mentally get into that skin of that character?
They one day they were just here. Actually, I wanted to write a story about unicorns first, and then all of a sudden these rhinos came. They were like knocking at my door. But there is a unicorn always at the end of the story, kind of, and then everything is good, and the unicorn comes. So yeah, I think they just came, and there's a core message, I guess, which came through these unicorns, to find also the balance between, intuition and thinking, which is always important in life situations. I would say, to find this balance. When do you follow your intuition, and how much thinking is healthy? So they have this mix, and the core message also of Gusta, which always comes again, is actually that, what you imagine you can create. So your thoughts and the way you look at things have a great impact on lives, I would say. And that's something you can, you know maybe enjoy within these 12 stories.
Absolutely, absolutely. There is much to understand about these things, and who better than you, the master? So, how
Thank
can people, what is the best way for people to learn more about you from you, and those people who want to get your services for their audiobook? What is the best way?
I have a website, leasakran.com. And yeah, I do narration. I also am a voiceover. And I also, I directed plays, and, also promotional videos, many in my life, and musical theater. So I also can direct audio plays, or audio dramas, right? And just get in touch through my homepage, I would suggest.
Absolutely, absolutely. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
indeed for
Thank
joining us.
you. Thank you.